Hey, it's MK, and I am back with Stretch the Sketch Gang, and this is the sketch that we will be lifting today, or shrinking, I should say. And I decided to do this cute little photo of my children standing outside of a truck that we found well, we didn't find, but it's a truck that's pulled into the parking lot of a diner that we just left. I'm also going to be using some 49 and Market Anywhere die cut pieces, as well as a few other like odds and ends. Like I have these, I think they're enamel. They call them bubbles, but epoxy. That's the word there. And then this little, almost like balsa wood images. I think they're from a company called 41 or something like that. You guys, I am so sorry. I threw away the packaging a while ago, and I'm not really sure where that came from. Also have a few other odds and ends tickets from Creative Memories and Not Just for Boys and things like that. I also pulled out some Chamel chipboard stickers. The reasoning is because this blue matches the background that I planned on using. But I honestly, it didn't really go with everything else that I picked out. So that's the brief introduction of that I never use. I have some punch out pieces also from 49 and Market the Anywhere paper pack. That's where you can get those. I have this awesome paper by Paper Rose. It's pink stars on the other side. That's clearly not the side I'm going to use. I have a piece of cardstock that is from Close to My Heart. And it is double-sided, so light side and dark side that I plan on using both sides of. And then this amazing airplane paper that is from Paper Phenomenon, who is Kathy Orta King, and she is paperphenomenon.com if you guys are interested in any of her papers. She also does digital papers for those that have those really awesome printers out there, that Canon, oh my god, paper printer thing. I would love to get one of those. Anyways, wishful thinking. I have no room for a printer, by the way. So I am doing an 8.5 by 11 page today. That is what I'm going to shrink this sketch to. And if you notice, there is a pretty busy background behind the main layout. And so my little swirly paper is going to be that busy background. Now, basically what I was going for was having this bright blue, but I didn't want it to be the star of the show. I kind of sort of wanted everything else to be muted and kind of like there, but I wanted the truck and the very, very back piece of my layout to be, like bam in your face. So because I cut everything down, the distressing of the airplane paper kind of went away. So I'm just trying to distress it back up because it does have one portion where it is distressed. And I did that. I didn't center it because of the fact that it says, or it had that camera and the saying underneath it all the way over on the right. So I wanted to cut all of that off and just have airplane paper is kind of where I was going with that. And then I backed all of it, a very, very thin backing of cardstock. And then I'm going to pull out my sewing machine and stitch lines all around it. Now, if I look at the sketch, the stitched lines kind of are straight up and down. They don't go around the kind of crooked, I don't want to say it's a background piece because the background piece is the crazy pattern paper. So yeah, I'm not really sure. So I did mine as straight as I possibly could with my very back piece, ignoring the fact that my front piece was on the wonky side. So when I look at it, I've got straight stitched lines, well, as straight as I can get my crooked eyes to go. I also pull out all of my, I pull all my strings to the back. I apply a small amount of glue, and because I'm in Christmas mode, that's all the washi tape I had was Christmas washi. So that's what I'm going to use on the back of this layout. But I do add that little bit of glue, and the reasoning is because I don't want, like over time, I feel like washi loses its sticky. And so this way I get an instant stick with the washi, but I get a permanent stick with the glue. And so that is kind of where it's at. Plus I'm going over the holes, and then that way my string, if I cut it too short on accident, my string does not go back up through the hole. So I'm kind of like sealing the hole as well. All right, enough about the strings. There is my background piece. I do like how, you just kind of see those little corners of stitched lines. Now, I'm not a very big stitcher, whether it's hand stitching or machine stitching on my layout. That is the only reason why I bought my sewing machine, just to let you guys know. But I forget about it. It's not something in my daily I have to remember to do type of thing. So as soon as I reappear, I will start punching out some elements to go on my layout. Now, when I first started, kind of figuring out, I don't want to say designing, it's not the right word. When I was first trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do on this layout, everything I chose was full intention of a 12 by 12 layout. So as soon as I shrink it down, it's kind of sort of like, oh, now I don't really have a whole lot of space. So what do I do now? Well, I just keep pulling and plugging away and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, I'm going to go through and grab out everything that I want to use on my layout like I normally do. And if it doesn't end up, then it doesn't end up. That's just the way it is. I wanted to use this ticket piece from Shamel, and then there was a couple other things that I really wanted to use too, but the more I kept pulling out, the more I realized I am not going to have enough room. Honestly, it's just something that's not going to happen. So I'm going to try and start building everything. Now my photo is ginormously larger than the one in the sketch, which is how it always ends up being. I love my 4x6 photos, you guys. Even if I was to have trimmed this down a little bit, it still would have been the 4x6 size instead of shrunk to where I couldn't even see the expressions on my kids' face. So what is the expression on my kids' face? Well, we just got done with a long day of unpacking. Well, I should say unloading one of the trailers that we took down to my parents' house. And because we were so busy with, moving stuff from one house to another, I didn't get a whole lot of photos. In fact, I think I only have 3 photos, and that was when we weren't even packing or moving or anything. It was the kids noticed something, and like the rainbow and these trucks, and the way that we got home the first time was the only times that I ever took pictures. It just was the stopping point in the move. And if you guys have moved, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's chaotic, and you just want to get it done and over with and not document it. Which is exactly what we were here. But we just got done at a diner with my mom and dad. And, it was the end of the day. We were getting ready to go check into our hotel room. And we walked out going towards the truck. In fact, the truck is behind me. And my kids saw all these trailers full of all these fancy trucks and cars and whatnot. And it was like, oh my gosh, those were so cool. Now, of course, I did not go around and take pictures of every single truck that was in the lot. It seemed like it was a caravan of these types of vehicles, like they were coming back from a car show or something. So anyways, what it was is the kids are like, Mom, can we take a picture? And I said, well, which one's your favorite? And they all picked this truck. Every single one of the kids picked this truck as their favorite. And I was like, oh, that's perfect, because then I only have to take one picture and I'm done. It was a very long day, you guys. So yeah, I just snapped the photo of the 3 little ones in front of what they deemed their favorite truck at that time. But the whole lot was full of these like show trucks and on trailers. And it was just fascinating. My husband's actually walking around looking at all the other trucks after we told the kids that they could not. But he was walking around looking at all the other trucks while I was distracting the kids and taking their picture. So he could go do what he was, what he told the kids they couldn't. Do as I say, not as I do, right? So yeah, that was what this was all about. And I just thought it was a very cute photo because when my kids, when it comes down to it, kids are pretty resilient. Even though it's been a very long day for us and, they just sat down and played their games or their Legos or whatever it was that they were doing at the time of us moving furniture, the kids, they pretty much like did their own thing while mom and dad worked, or mom, dad, and grandpa worked. And at the end of the day, it's all they wanted to do was take a picture in front of a truck. It's like that was all they asked for. Other than that, let's go check into the hotel and, call it a day. And yeah, they were great, even though their entire summer was pretty much taken by, we're going to run to Fallon every other weekend. They still found a way to enjoy it and not be, like, I want to say, I don't know. It's almost like they looked forward to it rather than they would rather, stay at a friend's house type thing. It just, they enjoyed the journey is what it was. Going back and forth, like I said, every other weekend, we spent the entire summer moving my parents. It was a big house. And then, of course, helping my mom transition into a newer house and where she's going to put all her things. That was also another deal. So anyways, just talked through me, whatever it was that I was doing. I always tend to mess up on the journaling. That is one of the reasons why I do not journal on the camera. But hey, it is life as we see fit. And I wanted to journal on it because I wanted to, this is what I was going to say until, and then just put the layout away type thing. But yeah, that is the layout. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening to me ramble on and on and on like I always do. Be sure to check out everyone else that is joining us for Stretch the Sketch, where we take a sketch that is commonly supposed to be a 12 by 12, and we either shrink it down to all the way down to a tag size, which I've seen before. That's amazing. Or we stretch it all the way across a 12 by 24 page, so a two pager. So yeah, it is fun to look at sketches in a different way entirely. And there are loads of us now playing along, which I think is fascinating because then you get more ideas for the exact same sketch. And if you are a 2-page layout gal, you get the experience of how to stretch a sketch across 2 pages. So that is cool. Anyways, again, thank you so much, and I will check y'all later. Bye.